Welcome, welcome, welcome. What does the daily schedule of a top producing real estate agent actually look like? We're going to look at that today, and we have a lot of examples to go through, so we need to get right into it. Now, one of the biggest questions that's going to come up, whether you're new or experienced alike, is what do I need to be doing with my day in order to be ahead? Now, we can all find busy work. We can all do that. We can all find something to do, but oftentimes the challenge is finding the right thing to do that's going to move your business forward. That's the biggest that's the biggest thing that we battle, myself included, right? But unless we establish a structure, a system, we can easily find ourselves getting into a rut, working 24/7 and just not seeing a lot of movement in our business. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to go into the daily schedule, what it needs to look like, so you're not guessing at what needs to happen next, so you're not frustrated with the lack of results that you may or may not be having with your real estate business, whether you're brand new to real estate or an experienced agent already. So let's get into this daily schedule right now so you know exactly what we're talking about. All right, so the first part of your day, now this is set up in sequential order. So the first part of your day, and I'm going to give you some suggestions along the way depending on the amount of business that you have or aspire to have. But the first part of your day has to start off with sharpening your skill set. Now, sharpening your skill set can mean many different things, but oftentimes it comes down to role playing. Oftentimes it comes down to scripting. Oftentimes it comes down to sharpening what you do every day. And that is sales. That is real estate. That is you getting better at communicating with people, closing people. Improving your conversion rate is the best way to, well, maybe not the best, one of the best ways to grow your real estate business. So how often are you converting the 100 people that approach you about real estate? Well, if your conversion rate is low, well, that's a problem. If you have 100 opportunities and you're closing 2 out of 100, that gets very frustrating. You're getting a lot of no's. And oftentimes it's just because of lack of the skill set. Now, a good friend, John Tsai out of Canada, a mega extreme producer who in a matter of 2 years went from 0 to 125 listings or transactions in 1 year, in a matter of basically 24 months. He was able to do that because of something called being a skillionaire. So essentially being a millionaire through skills, building your skill set in such a way to where you become undeniable. And a lot of that starts in the first part of the day. So the first part of your day is sharpening your skill set. It oftentimes is role playing. Oftentimes it's figuring out what to say in order to close people. But it can also sometimes be just getting your mind right, getting clarity, having motivation, getting a little bit of motivation going, affirmations, getting you started for the day. So you've all been there, myself included. There's some days that we wake up and we just don't feel it, but we go and push forward anyway. This is, if we have a system, if we know what we're going to be doing daily, we have no choice but to act. We have no choice but to do. The first part of your day is sharpening your skill set. Oftentimes it comes in the role of role playing, and you don't need an hour. You don't need 2 hours. You don't need a ton of hours or a ton of time. Give yourself 15, 20 minutes and do some role playing. Get going, practice some objections, really sharpen your skill set. Again, it could be in sales, through role playing. It could be learning how to navigate your MLS a lot faster, finding inventory, getting better at your contracts, learning a new skill set. Become a skillionaire, as John Tsai would say, is a huge way to get your day started and off in the right direction. Now, immediately after that, we have to find a business. If we don't have business, we're out of business. I know that sounds silly, but if we don't have buyers to work with or sellers to work with, then we are not making money, right? So this is not a hobby for anybody. So we are doing this because we expect an outcome, which means we have to go out there and prospect. Now, you can prospect in many different ways. Now, if you're a brand new agent, over 80% of your time should be focused on finding where your next deal is going to come from. And that is going to come, if we've talked about our lead matrix, our lead stacking matrix in the past. So essentially it's 4 ways to generate business: your sphere of influence, 1 active prospecting strategy, 1 passive marketing strategy, and focusing on social media platform. Those are the 4 ways to prospect. So spend the bulk of your time here. Especially if you're a brand new agent, chances are you're not working with the client. Chances are you don't have somebody to go and show a property to or a listing appointment to go on. That's okay. Spend this time prospecting. If you're a cold caller, call during this time. If you're a YouTuber, create content around this time. If you are if you're doing a door knock at this time. So the second part of your day is prospecting. This is a huge thing that once we start seeing a little bit of success, can easily fall out of habit. So if you are, as you start getting more and more momentum, the goal is not to stop doing what you've already done to make you successful or increase your success, is to do more of it. So again, you should be either reaching out to your sphere of influence during this time, doing an active prospecting strategy, whether it's cold calling, door knocking, including open houses, or trying to secure that open house for the weekend. Passive marketing would be increasing your blog, writing more for your blog, writing more for your writing scripts for YouTube videos and recording them, or doing your social media. So your social media is posting, doing short form content, getting those reels out there. Something that will get your name out there. The more people that know your name, the more people that will actually use your real estate services. So a big part of your day, towards the beginning of the day, is spent on prospecting. Here's where you're going to need to block out 2 to 4 hours of prospecting. Again, 2 to 4 hours of prospecting, depending on the size of your goals here. If your goal is to do 100 transactions in a year, then you need to be ramping it up to an extreme level. Just go absolutely bonkers on it. But the second part of our day is prospecting. Again, budget time for this to happen. If you don't budget it, if you don't put it on the calendar, it doesn't get done, as we know. The next part of our day is following up. So again, we've done sharpening our skill set. Give yourself 15 to 30 minutes to sharpen your skill set. Do role playing. Then we get into prospecting. Now that we have our sword sharpened, let's go into the battlefield. Let's go out there and take command of what we need to. Then we get into the follow-up game. Now that we focus on getting new business, let's follow up with the people that have already expressed interest in the past. Return the phone calls, return the emails, return the text. Follow up with the people that had expressed interest in buying. Learn more about the home. Call on the people that expressed interest in your listings. Reach back out to the individual. So the following up game, that's where you're going to see a conversion. Simply because you get a yes, hey, I want to work with you on the prospecting side, doesn't mean that the work is done. It's just beginning. You're just building your pipeline. The next step that happens is the follow-up game. You're following up with individuals that will ultimately be saying yes to your services. So this is a key component. This happens right after you're prospecting. Now the follow-up, depending on the amount of leads that you have, depending on the amount of transactions that you currently have and need to manage, it's going to take 30 minutes to 90 minutes. So half an hour to an hour and a half. So following up can be very quick, but sometimes there's some troubleshooting that needs to happen with the past, with your current transactions that you have going on, and also with the people that had expressed interest in connecting with you as well. So the follow-up game needs to be absolutely vital. Once, usually after the follow-up, you have your lunch, right? So I don't budget lunch because you eat when you eat. Usually after that, usually after your follow-up game, that's when people go on to lunch and all that stuff. But after the follow-up, we're going on appointments. This is when we're setting up appointments for listing appointments, buyer appointments, so Zoom discovery calls, buyer discovery calls and seller discovery calls. This is when we're having the showtime, right? So here, when we're prospecting, we're getting people interested, we're getting ready to have conversations. Well, this is when we have the business conversations. This is, again, going to that listing appointment, going to that buyer appointment, and selling yourself, selling your services, selling that you can absolutely do the job. This is the appointment game. Now, if you're a buyer's agent, then this is more along the lines for you. This is going to be on the showing side. This is when you go and do showings. This is where you go and try to put a buyer under contract for the home that they're looking for. Oftentimes, this comes towards the evening, most of the time because people are working throughout the day. So this is when they budget the time to go and see homes. So showings can vary. Sometimes you're showing one person, sometimes you're showing two people, three people, depending on the amount of clients that you're working with and also your schedule and theirs alike. But at that point, we're doing the showings afterwards. Now, if you flip it around and do a lot of showings at the beginning of the day, you're going to find yourself wasting a good portion of the day. Now, not because showings themselves are a waste. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying after the fact. So if you schedule all of your showings in the mornings, it's going to take time to get right back into work mode. after your showings, because sometimes they want to go see another home, another home, another home. No, if you're able to structure it in this way, you're able to maximize your days. Again, if you move your showings to the beginning part of the day, chances are you're not sharpening your skill set. You're going to forgo that part of your day. Chances are you're not going to be prospecting. You're going to forgo that part of your day. Don't allow that to happen. You get to build a business that you want. You get to set your schedule realistically, but once you do that, stick to your schedule, then become disciplined, then actually follow through with what you said you're going to do. Once again, showings is going to happen after your appointments. And then after the appointments, we're going to go into contracting mode. Typically, this is when you're writing contracts. Typically, this is when you are getting offers out there. Now, I know it sounds like it's the last part of the day, because it is, but contracting can mean reach out to the listing agents and seeing what it would take to go under contract. Contracting means having a conversation with your buyers, and now they're ready to go. So you might be having a little bit of a catch up before you actually write the offer, sending the offer over to them to sign. So at the end of the day, you want the offer already in somebody's inbox so they can review it either that night with their client or the following morning, and it's ready to go, right? So you want to show intentionality, you want to be there. And oftentimes contracting happens after you've done the showing. So in a perfect world, you have had you went and did a showing, and they absolutely, where did we go? How did we get here? Once the showing has been done, they want to move forward with the particular home. You reach out to a listing agent to get some additional details or clarification on something that they might have or need. Then you go into contracting. Essentially, you get with the buyer and see what offer needs to be put over the fence, and you write that offer, get it signed, and then go ahead and submit it for the seller's consideration. This is your day. This is your structure to your day. Don't overcomplicate it. Start it off with sharpening your skill set. Do some role playing. Get better at what you're doing. Get right into prospecting, finding new business. If you stop prospecting, you stop growing. That's a huge problem. Follow up with the people that you said you're going to follow up with. These are people that expressed interest in the past. And also, if you have clients at this time that are under contract, follow up with them so the deal doesn't fall apart. Appointments happen next. Go to that buyer appointment. Go to that seller appointment. Go to the individuals and close them. Whoever they happen to be, this is the time to close. Then get into the showings. Now that you have a mix of people that are working with you, now what we do is do some showings. Now we actually show the home. And then we get into contracting after they find that perfect one. This is the day of a top producing real estate agent. And what makes it vital and what makes agents top agents at the end of the day is sticking to their schedule. Compromising is not what you want to do if you want to get to the top of the real estate world, the real estate game. Set your schedule, take action, repeat. That's it. Set your schedule, go ahead and take action and repeat. That's all it's going to take. If you're doing this consistently, you're going to find yourself in a radically different way in place than where you might find yourself today. Well, if you found value today, please let me know in the comment section down below. Very, very excited to have conversations with you. If there's anything that I can help you, please let me know. But outside of that, I'll see you on the next one.